What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic day. I know I am. And if you are, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam whatsoever. You will be given an unplugged controller every time you try to play video games with your friends, and they will say, "Oh man, you're doing great," like you're their little brother, and just condescend you the whole time. So I would press the like button unless that's something that you really feel like experiencing. Anyways, guys, today is like a little update, I guess, on the Karen situation. Some of my new neighbors found out about my channel. They're not being crazy, like, don't worry, no one's breaking into my house. Or should I say, sorry to disappoint. You guys are mean, dude. You're like, yo, remember when that neighbor made him super uncomfortable where he lives? That should happen again. My new neighbors are being cool about it. That being said, there is a little bit of cringe that I gotta tell you guys about when my neighbors found out about the new channel. Or not the new channel, but like found out about my channel. And considering they might watch it, that's pretty awkward. So if you could press the like button for me being willing to do this, I'd appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Baby girl, just let me vibe. I'm just trying to make you mine. Yeah, they want me, can't deny, but you my girl, for them I'm blind. You love.
So, for those of you who don't know, I moved a couple months back. Like, these last couple months have just been super busy. I know my uploads haven't been the best, you know, but, like, I've just been super busy. I got stuff going on. So, for those of you that don't know, I moved. And my schedule is a little bit different than most people, especially with the quarantine stuff going on. I work from home anyways, so, like, I didn't really meet any of my neighbors in my new house very quickly because it's not like in current days everybody's, like, walking around introducing themselves to each other and shaking hands all the time. So I'm in my new house. Everything's been going good, and I haven't met my neighbors. I've been here for maybe a month. I did have the one lady on, like, the dog trail, but I don't even necessarily consider her my neighbor, considering she doesn't, like, live next door to me. She just lives somewhere in the neighborhood. But I hadn't met my neighbors yet, like my next door neighbor, or the person behind me, or the person in front of me. Like, I hadn't met anyone yet. But whatever, you know, I kind of mind my own business. It's not like I'm an annoying neighbor to have. I don't like to throw parties, bro, because they're just stressful, and, like, having that many people at your house is not fun. And on top of that, like, I really do just love to play video games and make videos all day. Like, I'm really not a noisy neighbor, and I would admit it if I was, straight up. But, you know, especially during the pandemic, it's not like there's anything that me or anybody else who lives here does that's loud. Because, like, you know, I'm not trying to get y'all too hyped, but there is currently a YouTube house being put together. There's a couple people already here. It's a work in progress. But me and the people who live here, for the most part, mind our business. And it is my house on paper. Like, legally, it's mine, you know. So whenever anybody, like, knocks on the door and needs anything, I'm the one who answers the door and does it because it's my house. Like, that should be pretty obvious, right? So regardless, one day we're just kind of chilling, sitting on the couch. We were waiting for a couple videos to render. I think we were watching YouTube or something. Like, this is right when the Leafy Pokimane stuff came out, so I think we were watching that video. And there's a knock on the door, and usually it's just like an Amazon package or something. So I go to answer the door. And, you know, I open it expecting there to be a package there, and when I open the door, there's this, like, middle-aged man with glasses just kind of looking at me. And he, like, looks at me and, like, looks in the house, and keep in mind, you know, there's been people moving in through time, you know. There's been some personal stuff going on, so, like, there's some boxes on the ground, some Amazon boxes. A certain YouTuber has just moved in, so, like, their setup, all the boxes their setup is in is, like, on the ground. It looks kind of messy. Like, a bunch of boxes are on the ground. But regardless, considering you just saw, like, you know, somebody moving into this house a month ago, you would assume that somebody would be smart enough to put two and two together and go, oh, these boxes are on the ground because they're just slow at moving. So the boxes are behind me, and this guy looks at me and looks at the boxes and looks back at me and folds his arm and goes, I just want you to know that we know that you're squatting here, or something like that. And I look at him and I'm like, huh, what are you talking about? So squatters, for those of you who don't know, are like people who go into a house that's for sale when nobody's living there, and they squat in it and, you know, just live in this empty house while nobody's there. And it's considered like basically stealing from the people who own the house because you're living there without paying rent. It's bad. But I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not squatting. Trust me, you know, I pay my bills. The Karens make sure that I stay fed around here. You guys do. I'm not squatting here. So I laugh and I'm like, oh, I'm not squatting. And, like, I should have probably been offended that this guy just assumed that I had broken into this house and was just, like, living here with no water for fun. And he's like, oh, really? Then why are all the boxes behind you? And at this point, I'm realizing that this dude isn't joking. Like, unironically, I thought that he had come over here and was just, like, making a joke about squatters because, I mean, there's cars in the driveway, and, like, I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen this guy in particular, but every morning I like to just go skate around to like wake up and start the day. So I've waved at everybody that I've seen. I haven't met any of my other neighbors, but like I haven't had problems with anybody. I've already had to have like signatures from my neighbors for something regarding my HOA, and everybody signed it with no problem. I didn't meet them to do it. Like somebody went and got the signatures for me, but you get what I'm saying. Like I haven't had a problem with anybody yet. So I thought he's joking. And when he folds his arm and is like, well, then what's with the boxes? I'm like, oh my God, this dude legit thinks I'm squatting here. So I laugh and I'm like, dude, nah, like I own the house. It's okay. Like we're not squatters. Trust me. And this guy's like, well, can you prove that you own the house? Which I know a lot of you who are, I guess, nicer are like, well, that's not an unreasonable question. He just wants to see proof that you own the house. But nah, who the hell does this goofy looking dude think he is walking up to my house and asking for me to provide proof that I own it? Like, who are you, Peter from Deadpool 2, dude? Go land in a freaking wood chipper. Don't come around here and try to tell me that I have to prove that I own my house to you. I don't owe you nothing. You think I'm squatting? Go ahead and call the cops, you know, and like, go ahead. They can come here and I'll show the police that I own the house. But nah, I'm not showing this random dude knocking on my door that I own the house. So I get that defensive. I'm looking at him like, no, you're not going to boss me around and make me show you proof that I own this house. Get out of here. Like, nah, I'm a little mean. I'm not going to lie. Because you got to remember, after the Karen situation, my tolerance for bad neighbors is basically zero. Like, for people that have watched the entire Karen saga from the beginning, I was so patient and tried to be as understanding as possible. So the second this dude starts doing that, like, you better show me. Like, nah, I'm a grown man. I don't have to show you anything. And you being on my property is hilarious. So get off of it. Like, I was mean. I'm not going to lie. And as soon as the guy sees me, like, getting pissed off and mad, he immediately just, like, starts apologizing. He's like, I'm so sorry. You just look so young, you know? Like, I didn't expect you to be able to have a house. I'm so sorry. Me and my wife have just been wondering what's going on. And, you know, we've been seeing more and more people showing up. So we just assumed that, like, word had gotten out, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm looking at this dude and I'm like, yo, I don't really care what you and your wife are talking about. Don't come to my house and ask me to provide proof that I own it. Do you understand? Like, I don't care, bro. You and your wife should mind your own damn business, first of all. It's none of your business if somebody's squatting in your neighbor's house. I mean, it kind of is. But, like, having the balls to come up and demand that I show you proof that I own my house is ballsy, dude. So at this point, the dude is just sitting there stuttering like an idiot because I think he realizes that, like, he just made himself look like a moron for his new neighbor. And, like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I already have enough problems, like, whenever I own a house or anything, or whenever I'm trying to do anything where people don't take me seriously, because, like, I'm a 21-year-old kid. Not that being 21 years old is a kid, you know what I mean? But, like, people just don't take me seriously enough, so it already pisses me off when, like, adults just assume that I'm a loser because I'm a kid. Like, that's already annoying. But for this dude to assume that me and all my friends are, like, homeless, squatting in this house, you know, and that we owe him anything is annoying. So he's sitting there stuttering, realizing that he made himself look like an idiot. And I'm like, today. And I slam the door in his face. You know what I mean? Because I'm done. Like, nah, I'm not going to respect you. So I look out the people and I see him, like, slink away, you know, slowly and just kind of go back to his house, and I see him turn to the right. So I don't know if he's my neighbor to the right or a couple houses down to the right. All I know is that he's somewhere to the right. And so a couple hours pass, and I'm gonna keep it honest, like, I completely forgot about it at that point. Like, yeah, it was annoying when it happened, but, like, whatever, it happens. I'm not that pressed about it, dude. 2 hours go by, and there's a knock on the door, and it's a little bit later in the day, like, too late for packages. So we do have, like, security cameras and whatnot, so I check the doorbell camera just to see who it is, and it's the guy from earlier and what I think is his wife standing next to him, and his wife looks pissed. Like, you ever just see the look in a woman's eyes and you know that whatever this guy did, bro, his wife is mad at him for it, man. Even if it doesn't make sense, like, you can feel the anger in her eyes and she's standing there looking pissed. So I'm assuming that I'm about to get complained at, you know? Like, I'm guessing that I'm gonna be, you know, who do you think you are to be rude to my husband? Like, you think it's neighborly to slam doors in people's faces? That's what I'm expecting to happen when I open this door, right? So, like, I'm getting worked up, you know, I'm going to the door, I'm arguing in my head, I'm like, yeah, man, if they say this, I'm gonna say this, like, you know how it is, like, hyping yourself up in your head for this argument. And I open the door and I go, yes, you know, kind of aggressively. And the wife immediately starts smiling and is like, hi, I just wanted to introduce myself, you know, where for the purpose of the story, I'm going to name them like Tom and Mark, or no, Tom and Sally. Tom and Sally, we live to your right, you know, and we just really, really wanted to introduce ourselves, and I personally just wanted to take a second and apologize for my husband earlier, you know? Like, I understand what happened, and I just want to say that I am so sorry. I had no idea that he was going to come over here and do all that, and he's just standing there looking like a puppy with his tail between his legs, bro. Like, and the wife is like, you know, obviously, welcome to the neighborhood. We have had no problems, no noise complaints. I am seriously so sorry about the fact that, like, my husband would come over here and accuse you of these things, and if there's anything we can do, I'm seriously so sorry. And at this point, I'm just laughing because I'm like, oh my God, this is hilarious. So she's like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're not mad. I'm like, nah, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. Like, I get it. You know, it's annoying. You probably should stop judging people. So I'm more relieved than anything, dude, because I really thought I was about to have to 1v1 with some angry woman and her husband, dude. And that just does not sound like a good use of my day. So I'm laughing. And I start telling them the story about my old neighbor, Karen, you know? And they're like, well, what do you do for a living? Because we don't see you going anywhere and you guys are like really young. So I tell them, I'm like, oh, I'm a YouTuber, because I don't know. Like, I really don't know what to tell people when they ask me what I do, because like it's one of two things. People either go like, oh my God, that's so cool, and ask a million questions, which is fun, you know? Or they're like, you can get paid for that? That's not a real job. And like, I don't know, this dude already seems like boomer enough to come over to the house and be like, oh, are you a squatter? So I'm not exactly wanting to tell them. So I'm like, oh, I'm a YouTuber. You know, they're like, oh my God, what's your channel? Our kids love YouTube. So I tell them about this one just because this is the one that I think is like the least likely to cause problems. You know, I'll get a little edgy on the other ones sometimes. I mean, they're going to find it now if they watch this, of course. But like, you know, I tell them about the channel. And sure enough, dude, the husband, I think, says just, I'm sorry, like 40 times while he's standing there. And he does seem sorry. Like, obviously, we make mistakes, you know. I'm gonna say, like, the fact that he thought that we were squatters is rude. But I'm not gonna hold a grudge against this dude, especially if he's man enough to come say sorry. Like, if you're willing to apologize, I'm willing to forgive you. That being said, the reason I'm making this video, if you're watching this, is because it's hilarious and it's gonna get a lot of views. But we're good. Like, I genuinely am not mad at my neighbors at all. So, like, he's apologizing and all this stuff, dude, and his wife is embarrassed, and she's kind of like yelling at him in front of me, which is honestly awkward. She's like, how can you believe that this kid was a criminal? Like, he's so, you know, well-spoken, which I will take as a compliment. Talking is literally my job, so like, you know, I try my best to sound pretty when I'm speaking, but whatever. She was super nice, dude. Like, I really was expecting a Karen, but I guess all that Karen energy just went straight to her husband for like embarrassing her in front of the new neighbors. She was super nice. I didn't end up meeting their kids because that's weird. I don't really care that much what kids lives next door, to keep it a buck. I really don't know if they watch my videos or not. If you do, that's cool. Please don't tell any of your friends where I live, because that would really suck. But to make everything even better, dude, the next day at like 11, we get a knock on the door. Tell me why these people sent an edible arrangements to the house saying sorry and like, oh my gosh, the lady is so nice. Like, the girl is obviously super nice. And I'm not saying that they sent me an edible arrangements to like make fun of them. It was a really nice gesture, but like, it's just a house of, you know, 18 to like 22-year-old boys. And they're like, I know what they love, fruit arrangements. It was just funny. It was really nice. They left a super sweet note. Like I said, absolutely no beef with my neighbors. Like, I don't hate them. They seem nice now, but yeah, dude, you made a really bad first impression. Like, that was just really, really not a good way to introduce yourself. I know you feel clownish if you're watching this, but man, you might want to go to some classes for some, like, you know, how to talk to people skills. You probably get a fat promotion, because if that's how you've been negotiating, whew, you need some work. But yeah, on that note, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought. Subscribe, turn on notifications if you're new, all that good stuff, and be sure to get yourself some of the OG Sub Club merch and use code Scrubby at the G Fuel checkout. If you like the intro song, a link will be down below if you want to check it out. If not, you know, totally up to you. I don't really care one way or the other. But yeah. On that note, follow me on Twitter at Scrubby_69, Instagram at Scrubby. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I will see you guys all next time in another video. I'm out. Peace.